Get ready.
I always get off.
It's about time.
While it's playing music.
Exactly.
That's why we just think through ours.
Girls Club.
It's just literally us singing. Like, live. We do it live, baby.
Girls Club.
Hello. Hi guys. What's everybody's Wednesday going? How's everybody's Wednesday going? This is Navi, this is Tate, and we have a guest today. We have Sarapoptarts.
Yay!
Look at us set. It's beautiful.
I don't know where to look. Do I look there or there?
Over there.
Camera.
Hi.
You can read the chat.
Okay.
It's whatever.
I usually look at the chat and I forget that we have a camera. Look at the camera.
I had one of those, like, what do I do with my hands moments. Just...
Yes. We are so excited to have you over. We've been chatting for a few minutes, and I've known you for a while just from TikTok, and I found you, and I had no idea you lived in Indiana until like Rona was like, "Oh, she lives in Indiana." I'm like, wait a minute, like like let's figure out all the influencers who live in Indiana. But yeah, so Sarapoptart, why Pop-Tart?
Oh gosh, I'm going to come up with a better story one of these days. Right now, I just like have to tell the truth because it's all that I have. But yeah. My name was Sary's Sweetheart.
Okay.
Because I loved Jersey Shore as a teenager. So like Sammy Sweetheart, Sarah Sweetheart, and there was a girl one time that could not remember my Instagram handle, and she was kind of mad at me, and she was like, "Oh, Sarah Sweetfarts," or Sarah Pop-Tarts, and I was like, wait, that one's so funny.
Oh, I like that.
Sarah Pop-Tarts. So, like, at the time, I had, like, 200 friends on Instagram. Yeah. And it was, like, just my close friends. And I was like, Sarah Pop-Tarts, so funny. And then, you know, I started doing comedy, things start taking off for me. And now I just have to live with that Instagram handle.
Yeah.
Forever. Like, I can't change it now. I've created a whole brand around it.
Yeah, it's a good brand. I mean, it starts a conversation. It's like, why Pop-Tart? And whatever the story is, it's good. I mean, that's how NORMIES started. Yeah, like we would call Talking Thrones, and then somebody just was like, "You fucking normies." It's like, "Oh, I like that name."
Yeah, it's like somebody calls you something, they make fun of you, and I guess it does, like, that's me as a personality. Yeah. Someone makes fun of me for something, and I capitalize on it.
Yeah.
Why not?
It makes sense. But yeah, tell us something about yourself, Sarah. You are a comedian, you're a writer. You started with TikTok or Instagram with, like...
As far as the videos go, definitely started with TikTok.
Okay.
And TikTok started out when it first came out. This was like 2020. Pandemic's kind of going on. Yeah. I had been doing comedy for about a year before this. Yeah. And then we're all like locked in our house. And I'm like, I don't know how to use this app. None of us really do. I was never a big, guru on any, like, I didn't do YouTube, anything like that before. So really at first it was just me talking into the phone, just a black like a hole void. Yes. Yeah. Just telling, because, like MySpace, you used to just put your whole life out there and you didn't realize that was going to be around forever.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I was treating TikTok at first. I was just saying the most reckless, true raw things I could online, and then it just started taking off, and I got flagged a few times. I was like, I might lose my TikTok, because I was just saying whatever.
Do
you remember like one of the instances you got flagged?
Yeah, I know I said the word coming.
Oh, and that flagged it?
Yeah. Oh, TikTok's pretty It's weird though, once you get a certain amount of like followers, they're a little bit more lenient.
Of course.
But when I was first starting, it was like, I said, it was an old joke that I had where I said, like, I didn't know that there was one big moment where guys came. I thought that it was just like the whole time. So I was telling that story on TikTok, and they were like, no.
That's too much for our audience.
So funny.
That's hilarious.
They were probably like, that one's probably just too embarrassing. They were probably just trying to help me out.
Yeah, no, fair enough. So people who are wondering, her handle is Sarapoptarts. She's Indiana influencers. One of our big Indiana influencer. I think that's where mostly I can find you, right? TikTok and Instagram is also the same.
TikTok, Instagram,
Do you usually promote TikTok more than Instagram?
I used to. But it kind of just depends. My audience doesn't really leak over. So I have a completely different audience on TikTok than I do Instagram. Like, my Instagram audience is like 70 70% male, and my TikTok audience is 80% female.
Oh,
so I know it's a
interesting.
completely different
That's
audience.
good.
Yeah.
That's good, though.
So I just kind of promote both of them because I
Yeah.
don't know.
Interesting. We need to look at our demographics and see.
It's the same.
It's the same. Oh,
It's the
okay. It's
same.
just males.
Yeah.
Our demographic is very. It's like 80% male on YouTube. It's like I think also 80% male on TikTok on Instagram.
Instagram.
I don't know about TikTok,
Yeah.
but I just assume it's the same.
Yeah. It's been one of those conversations because it's just 3 females on the couch and rest are guys. It's like, guys, you need to dress sexy. You need to bring these female audiences. What is happening here? Like, we have most males, and why is it most audience males? But we try to figure things out.
Nobody wants to see the hairy legs.
I want more of a female audience, but like it's just something about comedy, they push it out to males. So
Yeah. That's always interesting.
Yeah.
But I think when we chatted last week, I told you, like, I did a whole deep dive on your TikTok. It was like, when it was just so funny because TikTok's so easy. You can like scroll through it, you watch it, and you go through one of them. You have like a lot of interesting topics, and I think most of them we kind of feel the same as well. But yeah, I'm just gonna go from it. But so first, like I mentioned earlier, like I saw you on polite catcalling, and that's something that I believe you guys do it here in Broad Ripple. It's a very interesting concept, and I believe you do it with Benedict. Oh my God,
Litzy.
Litzy, yeah. I will never be able to say it. So how do you get into that like catcalling? I think it's something that he started and you collaborate with him, or is it something you started?
No, so and like, again, I've said a lot of things. It's like hard work. A lot of things are luck. Like
Yeah.
he texted me one day and he was like, what if we did polite catcalling? And I'm like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
And he was like, I'll say, damn girl, you look like you know how to put on a fitted sheet.
Yeah.
And he's like, and then you say like, damn dude, you look like you have a bed frame. And so like, I was like,
Love it.
I like it, and we had no idea at the time that it was going to do anything like that. I mean, he definitely had a bigger following than me at the time. I mean, he still does, but you know, I mean, that just took off.
It's funny.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Like, and especially, you know, like somebody's like yelling at you and the guy, and then it was like, oh, that was nice actually.
Yeah. So we wrote all kinds of them, and then we would just kind of wait and see somebody that looked like they would fit into that graphic,
and then go from there.
But when we were writing them, I had no idea. And then, you know, where we were gonna film it, we had no idea. We started out downtown, and just
change places.
Yeah. And then finally we found that little area in Broad Ripple, which everyone tells us is super dangerous. So, you know, we're risking our lives out there. No.
I mean,
Definitely.
And
my God.
there's certain people that are like, it's dangerous in Broad Ripple. I'm
Come
like,
on.
well, you probably also think like the
I mean,
Speedway gas station is dangerous. Probably.
True.
This is like my pet peeve. And like I hate, especially with Chicago, when someone like, I'm going to Chicago, like be careful, it's really dangerous in Chicago. I'm like, have you actually ever been
to Chicago?
Because
Such a huge city.
like, actually Indianapolis has higher like murder rate right now per capita than Chicago. It's just like the reputation, and also like if you're in a like Millennium Park, you're fine.
You're fine. I think you just don't be stupid.
Yeah,
just don't go
like,
anywhere. But whenever you've done the polite catcalling, has anybody ever gotten weird about it?
Yes.
Yeah. So like.
Yeah. A girl only one time. A girl got really upset. She tried to like get out of her car and was going to fight me, and I was like, what? She was like, "Don't tell me what I look like," and I was like, I think you look really pretty.
I was like, that's polite. Oh my God, that's funny.
Not a ton of bad. We're also in Indiana,
Yeah.
so the Midwest people are just going to love it. And then we tried it in Vegas one time, and people weren't as receptive there. But also, like, we're in Vegas. Like, there's also a pair of titties you can look at across the street,
That's
and then
true.
we're trying to do what we're doing. Like,
That's funny.
it just wasn't.
That's hilarious.
We weren't as appealing in Vegas.
Oh my God.
We're like, it's fine. I can get better catcalling somewhere else, the actual one. That's hilarious. Yes, Brooke, she is from that TikTok. I can't believe you actually saw it last night. It's probably us talking about it and your algorithm picking it up.
Yeah.
No, I love it. All right. So, I like this is not the way I want it to be printed. I don't like it.
I just
it's like
printed
all
your
straight
notes.
up. I know, but I
Okay.
need to have it. But yeah, so you also have a podcast called like Beauty and the Breakdown. So how did that come about? Because it just started 3 months ago, 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like when you're a comedian, you feel like you have to do a podcast.
Sure. It's like one of those things I feel like everybody kind of has to get into it.
Yeah.
And then hoping that it picks it up.
Yeah.
That's our goal here right now. But yeah.
I'm so proud of you guys in this whole studio that you have, because when I first started podcasting, I was like, this is hard. This is so hard. And I didn't know. I knew that I was talented at stand-up. I was talented online, but
Yeah.
the podcast was one of those things I'm like, I don't know if I'm very good at that. But my friend Heidi, her and I just have one of those relationships where we can just bounce off of each other.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, if I'm going to do it with somebody, I'm going to do it with you.
Yeah.
And so I went to cosmetology school during the pandemic because I had a mental breakdown.
Did you finish it?
I did.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't do hair, but I do have that in the back of my pocket if I ever need it.
No fair.
So we were like,
If you want to be Mua, like go for it.
right? If I ever want to do it, I can.
Yeah.
But I was like, let's make a beauty podcast. And now looking back, I was like, that was stupid. Why would we do a beauty podcast when neither one of us are really into beauty? We're both much more into breakdowns.
Yeah, I love it.
So luckily we named it Beauty and the Breakdown because it's more about breakdowns than it is beauty.
Fair enough.
I think I hear what you're saying, but I think it's important for women like yourself or like us, because we also don't really have a
into
routine
beauty.
or, you know, like aren't really like that into like buying all the products, etc. I think it's important to have that representation as well, because I feel like a lot of the like beauty influencers, YouTubers, Instagram, podcasts as well, it's just kind of like pushing products out.
Yeah.
And kind of like promising the impossible, where you're just like telling girls like, you know, if you buy just this, the last thing you need for the flawless skin, you know, and it's just constant bombardment with like this messaging. So I think it's important.
So many messages too.
Yeah, I think it's like really important for someone who's more grounded to also be like, actually, my routine is very simple, and I have these two things.
Yeah.
It's been working.
That is one reason I don't take any beauty skincare brand deals at all, because I'm not going to promote something that I don't believe in.
Yeah.
If I got like A1 steak sauce or ketchup
Like, go for
or
it.
something like really cool that I believe in, I would for sure promote that on my page.
I love it.
But for me to promote some sort of skincare routine, I'm not going to do it, because I use that Aztec clay.
Oh,
whatever
I
that
love
is,
it.
and it
Yeah.
literally like hardens your skin, like, and you're like just can't even
Standing.
move your face.
And you like move it and everything like starts falling. It was like, I can
Yes.
only stay at one place.
It's the messiest thing in the world.
So
My
messy.
entire sink is just full of clay.
Oh, yeah.
And then I use like just a regular moisturizer. Like,
That's all is needed.
Yeah.
We had done a podcast in the past around like skincare routine, and we realized like we don't have one, and we only have like do one or two things. But it's one of those things like, you know, like you watch TikTok and then it starts showing you 10 other TikToks saying one, but like 10 steps, 7 steps.
Yeah.
Like, should I be doing all these steps?
well, both of you
Yeah.
have flawless skin, so
Thank
I'm
you.
starting to think that we might be.
We are onto
There's-
something.
Yeah.
You don't need that many steps.
We might be
of
on the right
skincare.
track of
Yeah.
skincare.
But what are your thoughts about like a skincare routine? Like, do you have multiple steps, or is it just like one? Like, you just set a moisturizer.
I mean,
and
I
you're good to go?
definitely I wash my face every night. I
Yeah.
do, you know, the typical stuff, and I didn't even start doing that until I reached my late 20s. And you start noticing, like, that's only because I would notice my cake would be like kind of like
Yeah.
yeah, my foundation would be caked in my wrinkles when I woke up in the morning. So then I started washing my face. But like before that, I didn't even wash my face at night.
I
Like
love it. I love it. That's funny because like every time, as when I was younger, obviously like well try to do multiple products, and like at that time like
my
I didn't have my money,
God.
so I would ask my parents. My mom's like, you know, the more things you use, the more things your skin will want. So it's good that you only use a little bit of it. And now like growing up, I was like, that's so true.
that's why I don't use chapstick.
Yeah. You don't use chapstick?
No, because I think it makes your lips more chapped.
I think you're right because every time I don't, I feel like my lips are so chapped. Like now I need a chapstick.
Guys,
Yeah.
I cannot survive in Indiana without the chapstick.
It's because you
especially in winter.
That's true.
Like I moved here in 2015, and my first winter, I literally almost died. Literally, my hair started falling.
Oh my god.
And like my lips were just like I got eczema for the first time in my life. And I was just like, what is happening?
Well, you're coming from
This
Europe.
state is rejecting me.
You're coming from Europe to our hard water, like the driest
Oh my
environment.
god, it was bad. It was bad.
That's hilarious.
My roommate she's from Puerto Rico, and her boyfriend just moved here. He's never really traveled a lot. He's only grew up his whole life in Puerto Rico.
And you moved to Midwest?
We moved here on the coldest day that we had so far. And this man shows up in a hoodie and shorts.
Oh!
And he had on 2 pair of socks though, which I was like, those 2 pair of socks, it's not what's gonna save you, my man. Like,
At all. And the coldest day too.
yes,
That's so
it
sad.
was like 12 degrees outside.
Oh.
He's like, oh yeah, I love Indiana.
No. Is he surviving now? Does he hate it? He's like, oh, make it work.
He's getting better. He likes it. I think he'll be a lot happier in the summer.
Oh yeah, when the sun comes
Yeah.
out, everybody's so much happier.
He
There's
lives
like-
in paradise though, normally.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You still coping with Indiana?
I am.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
sun is out, so that's good.
Yeah, it's better now. Like this winter's been pretty rough for me personally.
Yeah?
I don't know about you guys, but I don't know. Like I feel like every year, like winter depression gets worse.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I'm getting older, or maybe it's because the world is just more depressing.
That's true. It's everything. And it was
I
much
don't know.
more like cloudy too, I feel like this year. But yeah. Oh, thank you so much for everybody joining. Just wanted to let you know, if you're watching us on YouTube, we are not paying attention to YouTube chat. We are paying attention to Twitch chat. Also, that I'm barely doing. We'll do more.
So we've got TikTok, Instagram, comedy, the catcalling, which is also on TikTok. Then we have podcasts,
Yeah.
and you also have a full-time job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you manage your time? Or how
I
do you,
don't,
how do
man.
you-
I don't
But
manage
look like
my
you put
time.
together.
It's all an act. I'm crumbling.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
So do you have like one thing that you really want to focus on and want it to succeed over others?
Yeah, I mean, I want to do entertainment. I want to do stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
I want that to transpire into having my own like TV show or like a game show, being a TV show host of some sort. I think that it's just right now you have to do all these steps, and like as much as they don't feel like they all align, they do. You know, like my full-time job is a creative producer, so that gives me all this. I have to be organized. I have to have a plan. I've got several other people I have involved, and so that gives me that skill set of trying to actually not be such a creative. I don't know. You guys are all creative minds too, so like.
She's more so than I am. But
Yeah, my brain is in 1,000 different places all the
Yeah.
time, and like I'll be like, oh, let's make this video. Well, let's go do this first, and like, well, I haven't ate yet today, and so
Oh yeah.
All the time.
that job gives me that opportunity to be organized, and then the stand-up that fuels my soul because I get to just talk about whatever I want.
Yeah.
I get to make people laugh. That part is wonderful. And then the content creation is hopefully my way in. Like that's being in Indiana, that's my way to hopefully be seen or be able to do something. So it's normally like Monday through Friday during the mornings, I'm really focused on my job.
Yeah.
At night, really focused on stand-up. And then content creation is dedicated to the weekends. So I normally make like 4 or 5 videos all weekend.
Oh,
and then I
wow.
post them throughout the week. But
So do you like what time? What do you do to make sure you're giving yourself a time? Because mental breakdown, like burnout, is a whole thing.
yeah, I feel I used to be a really big party girl. Like
Yeah.
I was like, I lived for the weekend. I worked in clubs. Like I was very like every weekend I just like couldn't wait to get out, go drink, go do something.
Yeah.
And then when I started doing the content, I started staying inside. And like, as much as that feels like, oh, you're not giving yourself a mental break, that is my mental break because I have so much fun doing it. I'm alone.
Yeah.
Like I do it all by myself. Everybody goes out. I get the house to myself,
Nice.
and that's just my time to like be a fucking weirdo in the living room. Like,
Makes sense.
So
that's good. Yeah. Like organizing it. I think one thing about being a content creator is it's like so much is happening. You just have to organize it, and that's good that you film a lot of it on a weekend and kind of like post it throughout, because you need to post it throughout, otherwise the algorithm just forgets about you. Yeah, it's like you need to keep doing it every day, and it's kind of hard to do it every day. But yeah, that's a very difficult part.
Do you recall your first on stage experience and how that went for you?
Yeah, it was at Dugout, which is a bar.
Yes,
in
Farm
Square. Yeah.
They do live shows? I had no idea.
They did an open mic.
Oh.
Is he asking me if I have social anxiety?
Do you have a social
Obviously, look at me. Yeah, I would go with my friend. Well, okay, so I used to go to this comedy club called Morty's, and I would just go and watch, and I had no idea how stand-up comedy worked. Like, I thought one day they would just be like, does anyone want to try stand-up? And I'd be like, I guess me! Like, they would just call me out into the crowd, and I would
give it a chance.
Yeah. And I'd just walk up there, like, and just murder it.
Everybody's like, oh, Sarah,
oh my God! Bring her back! Like, carry me out on a chair.
Perfect, yeah.
That's how I envisioned stand-up comedy going. But really, I went to Dugout. I went with a friend, and I went once with him just to watch him do it, and then the next time I did it.
Yeah.
I know that my jokes were okay. I know they were also terrible.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any trouble talking. I know a lot of people's first time the
nervousness.
Yeah, like my presence. I even looked at an old stand-up video where I was about 3 months in. I watched it a couple nights ago, and I was like, yeah, the jokes weren't there, but I looked so confident up there. Like, that part came so naturally to me. I have no idea why, because I feel like off stage I'm very awkward. But on stage, I am just like, I have all this confidence. Awesome. It's like a whole different person comes out of me.
That's good.
So,
that's very good. So how long have you been doing it? Because we watched you, like me and Katie went to her show at the Vogue a couple of weeks ago, and you killed it. You were great. So how long have you been doing it?
January was my 4th year.
Okay. Oh, wow.
So,
okay. Yeah. Also, your outfit at that night was amazing.
Oh,
I think that was the first one, like, we love her outfit. Like, we want that shirt.
It's a weird thing with, I never know what to wear on stage, because it's like, oh, you might deal with this with, like, the podcast. I'm like, oh, I don't want to be too, like, sexy, but I don't want to look too relaxed, but I don't want to be too much. Yeah.
Just pick a day. And like, today I'm going to dress this, tomorrow's this. But
I try and stick with the same, like, 7 outfits, and I'm like, those ones work.
We'll stick with that one.
Yeah.
No.
I had a guy on my, like, Instagram one time was like, female comics shouldn't dress like that. I was like, sorry, I'll dress uglier next time. Like, what do you want?
What does female comic should dress like?
Yeah, I didn't know there was a dress code.
Yeah, like, I didn't know there was a dress code for it. Like, okay. Good to know.
There is.
Good to know. That's hilarious.
Unsolicited feedback is
the best.
The best.
Yeah. Yeah. So with all the comments that you get on TikTok and Instagram, everything, is that something that bothers you? Have you, like, has that made yourself reflect on some things that you stopped doing now? Because we have few of them. Like, we used to, when we started a YouTube channel, I did not realize how much of a foot fetish is a thing. And so... And
Why did I look at both your guys' feet? I was
like it just,
what are we working with, ladies?
But now it's one of those things, like, we will always wear shoes, like, we'll always wear socks, and I think it was like self-consciously we just started doing it, and it's just things that you don't realize, like, oh, okay, because we will film it at somebody's living room and we won't wear shoes, but now in the studios we will always keep shoes on. And so, like, is there any comments that you've gotten? It's like, I didn't know I was doing this. Like, okay, I'm like, you unconsciously stopped doing it. It's like, didn't
a little bit, but I feel like that's why I started comedy. Half of the stuff that I started comedy with was like somebody made fun of me for something.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm an emotional person, I am, but I used to get sad about those kind of things. And then when I started comedy, I'm like, oh, like, that's hilarious. I'll make fun of myself. So any comments that I get, I'm like, oh, you're just giving me
content.
You're giving me stuff I can put on stage. That's all you're doing. Like, a guy told me I have wide ribs. I wrote
what does that mean?
Like, I'm writing one of my, like, favorite jokes about that.
What's wrong
like,
with men?
Like a wide ribs.
Yeah.
Like, things I didn't know I had to look for. Like, okay.
Wide ribs. That's new.
It's so distinct and slightly accurate, which like
I don't know. Like, that's hilarious. Yeah, DJ Degenerate. Like, what does that mean? Like, yeah, I love it. That's love it. So there was one TikTok that I watched and I wanted to ask you about it. So you were kicked out of your sorority, and like, what is the story behind it? Like, that's just like so funny to me. Like, sorority was a whole hilarious thing to me, but like, yeah, like what?
So it wasn't technically kicked out. It was kind of a mutual, like a mutual breakup.
Yeah.
Where it was like, you're not right for us, and I'm like, I know.
Like,
it wasn't. I mean, I had a really bad semester, and my grades were too low. And so when your grades are too low, you're not allowed to go to formal. You're not allowed to do all the. I don't know what else they do.
Oh, that matters?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
So you have to stay above like a 3.0 GPA to be able to do all the fun stuff that a sorority offers, which none of it's that fun.
It's a lot of work, it seems.
But I have so many follow-up questions, but I'm going to let you finish.
But yeah, so when they told me I couldn't do all the fun stuff, I was like, well, I'm kind of paying a lot of money to not be able to do anything.
Yeah.
And they were, it was kind of just one of those things where I was like, I'm not. I was actually, we were in a meeting, and, we have, like, our weekly meeting, and I had, like, one friend in the whole sorority, and they were fighting for, like, 20 minutes over if we were going to get bro tanks or t-shirts for this event that we were, full-on fighting, like, no, you said that we were going to get bro tanks, like, oh, fuck you, Stacy, like, you don't even look good in a bro tank, and, like, I looked at my friend Ellie, and I was like, I think I'm going to go, and she was like, okay, and I was like forever. Like, I'm not ever going to come back here. And she was like, okay.
I love it. I love that. That's funny.
I just never went back.
Okay. So,
what are you?
I just want to preface this conversation by saying that I'm completely ignorant about sororities.
Yeah.
And I don't have a slightest idea of why it's actually desired or beneficial or any positive quality.
I believe it's like a networking thing, right?
Outside of networking,
Yeah.
I don't understand it. So all of my questions are coming from a place of absolute ignorance. So
go ahead.
Don't judge me. But also it comes from a place of, this is how media portrays like sorority, fraternity, and like how I perceive it as like a foreigner.
Yeah, fair enough.
So to me, it's always seemed like such a toxic place to be, where you have to kind of like do something that you are absolutely not comfortable doing just to get it in. So I guess my first question is like, is that a thing, like hazing? Is that a thing for like all sororities? Like, do you have to do something stupid in order to be a part of the club?
My understanding is illegal, but it still happens.
We didn't have any hazing.
Okay.
I didn't have a fun time, but if anything, you're called babies when you start, and they like treated the babies really nicely.
Yeah.
So I didn't deal with any of that, but it is a lot of fakeness. You're going in and you're telling, because you can't. I talked about this on stage, but like when you're rushing, you're not allowed to talk about boys, booze. The boys, booze, and one other B word.
You're not allowed to talk about?
So when you're rushing, you're not allowed to talk about like 3 things. Yeah. And for me, I'm so open and honest that taking out those 3 things, for me, I was like, well, then what am I going to talk about?
Like, there's nothing else.
Yeah, so it just felt so fake. Like, I was like, love your earrings. Like,
that's funny.
God.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's I had a few friends who were in sororities, and I remember the whole rush week. It was such a big deal. So rush week, I don't know if you know, like,
no,
so there's a whole week.
I was trying to pick it up.
Yeah, so there's like a whole rush week where you kind of just go interview essentially with all the sorority that you want to, and by the end of it, like you get like you going to school interviews and the schools tell you like this is the school they picked you. Like I had a couple of friends and they were in sorority because their parents were in sorority or fraternity.
That's the other thing
like
too,
they kind of stick with it. But most thing that I learned was it was a huge networking. Like if you're in a sorority, like a lot of people in the sorority, they also well established, so you kind of make friends that you could use that network. And you just kind of have like this friend group, like sisters or brothers, and I don't know.
And like if your parents were in that sorority, you become like a legacy, and then you carry on that legacy.
You have to be in there. Yeah,
it's a lot.
It is.
Is there like barriers of entry where like you can get rejected if you like? How do you become a soror?
Oh, they have to choose you.
Yeah,
they have to choose you, and you like, it's cutthroat. It's absolutely terrible. Like, because you choose the 5 that you want to go into on the first day, and then you narrow it down to 5. But that sorority also has to pick you.
Yeah.
So like some people narrowed it down to 5, and then none of those sorority picked them. So then they're just like, oh, okay, well, I guess I go home now. And you just don't get into anything.
So if you're not part of a sorority, you just can't go to college?
Well, you can go to college still.
Okay.
You just aren't in a sorority.
Yeah,
you can always rush, like, the next semester or whatever.
It's just like another organization that you get part. Think about, like, you going to college and you become a part of a club. So you're still going to
pay more for your education if you're in sorority?
You pay for the sorority. Sorority is like a room and board kind of thing. So that's where you're living.
Okay.
If they have a house.
Yeah, we didn't even have a house, so really it was just a lot of money.
So what were you paying for?
Events.
An extra party.
Yeah.
Oh
like
my God.
one extra party a month.
Yeah.
Like to say that I was, I mean, I think I lasted like 6 months. And looking back in college, I wish I would have realized myself a lot better. I wish I would have realized where I fit in. No, I was just like, I was always trying to fit in where I knew I didn't fit in, but I wanted to be like this certain person so badly. But like I remember I went to a sketch comedy group meeting, because like when your freshman year, you're going to all these different things trying to figure out where you fit in. And I went to this sketch comedy group, and I remember thinking, like, these people are weird. Which they were, but if I would have just realized, like, that's because you're weird, bitch. Like, you would have loved those people. Like, you're weird. Why won't you just, like, be yourself? And it took me literally until, like, my late 20s, almost early 30s before I was comfortable, like, just being that instead of trying to, like, force myself into these groups that I wasn't comfortable in.
I think that's the one thing, like, you don't realize who you are until like past 25.
Yeah,
I feel
definitely.
Like before 25, you just
that frontal lobe.
Yeah, like the media portrays an image and you try to fit into it, and like the harder you try to fit into it, the more you should know that you don't. That's just not for you. Like it should just come automatically, and I think it just doesn't come to you. Like I didn't realize who I was until like I was 26 or 27. I was like, okay, so I am a nerd. I will stick with it. I'm okay with this. Yeah. Let's move on.
But it's also like I think that people like change over time. Like I feel like every like 5 or 7 years
you're like a different person.
You're just slightly or very different person than you used to be. And it depends on like yourself, but also your environment. Yeah. Like I don't think personally for me, if I never came to the United States, I would absolutely not be a YouTuber. There's no fucking way.
You came to be a teacher.
Yeah, I have a master's degree in education, and I'm just here talking about anime that I've never watched before. So
yeah, we can work
here
with
we
her.
are.
Like if she has to tell what she came here for is a whole different thing. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah,
teacher turned YouTuber.
There you go. Yeah, I love it.
It took one swipe right.
You're right. I think your environment does change that for you. I think the people that I've surrounded myself with now compared to what I tried to surround myself with as a younger version of me, I was like, stupid. What are you doing? Why?
Yeah, and I think you just have to be open about like surrounding yourself with different people. And just going to, like you said, you went to like sketch comedy, like just going to different things and see what works for you. I think a lot's like out of my comfort zone, but let me go try it. Yeah. But sometimes I still don't feel comfortable. Like this is not it then. Like, I'm gonna go find
looking back,
else.
I those are like slight regrets that I have where I'm like, oh, I should have just started what I do now when I was younger, but I wasn't. You know, you live and you learn.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing, so going to other questions, like other thing you talk about on your TikTok is just how we all, I think everybody here like has some mental illness. Like we're all going through something. We talked about depression, like seasonal depression, the fun times. So you talked about a lot like how your parents don't understand it. Like, is that something it has changed, or is that still something that like, okay, you're fine, just pick it up, like, oh, you'll be okay, just go do this, and they just like put it like brush it under a rug?
My mom has gotten a lot better.
Okay.
My mom and dad got divorced like 3 years ago, and since then my mom has really just flourished as a person.
With her own individuality.
Yeah, and like she understands now. Like she used to think that she had high blood pressure, and I was like, I don't know if you have high blood pressure or anxiety. And she's like, oh no, well, anxiety is just something people make up. And then now she'll call and tell me, she's like, I think I'm having anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's incredible. And my dad is still my dad definitely is one of those people that's like, everyone's a little bit bipolar. I'm like, no, they're not.
Are you bipolar?
Yeah, I'm like, you are.
You're just saying that everybody else is, but you have this. That's funny. But yeah, like it's funny. My parents like never understood depression was a thing, but I think now they're coming around to it because there are cases in my family. Like my mom's, I'm just gonna say my mom's brother because there's a whole relationship happening. But he was he got a really serious depression. And he passed away a few years ago. And that's, I think, one thing that's like, okay, so that is a thing. Like, you just don't talk about it. And like now my parents are like, okay, so yeah, people do get depressed, but they don't understand like why? Because there's like, you have everything. Why would you be depressed? It's like, that's not how it works. But
oh yeah,
sure.
My favorite thing is watching a boomer try and figure out mental illness. Like they're like, and they want to explain it to, and like now they want to mansplain it to people. Like when my dad does figure out anxiety, he's going to explain it to me. Yeah, he's gonna be like, well, come here, let me tell you about anxiety. I'm like, dude, no, like.
But that's funny.
I remember like my parents. I actually still like didn't. I don't really update them on like my like mental wellness.
Yeah.
At all.
Because they're just not
like,
going to.
I was like, how are you? I'm like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
But it's because when like back when I lived there, one of my aunt had like really bad depression.
Yeah.
She was hospitalized multiple times.
Oh wow.
And my dad just like that's her brother, right?
Yeah.
And he's just like, she just doesn't want to go to work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, seriously? Like, what? And that stuck with me. And like, I haven't told my parents that like I struggle like mentally sometimes.
Yeah.
Being here, like just homesickness. Like I don't tell them that because I don't want them to be like, grow up.
Oh, come back.
You just don't want to go to work.
Part of me thinks though that they've changed because I feel like there's a lot of topics that they're more open to talking about. So I think that I'll work my way up to telling them eventually. But yeah, right now I just haven't even
brought the
dipped
topic.
a finger in those waters. I'm just staying away for now.
No,
because it's hard.
It is, and I think like it is more in the media now that it's more in the conversation. So it's like, okay, so it is a thing. Yes, it is a thing.
I also grew up in like in a small town, so like it wasn't only like mental issues that we are like that we didn't pay attention to. Like you had to be physically almost dying before you went to the doctor or hospital. So like, especially like I'm like 100% sure that my uncle has Tourette's, but we don't talk about it. We're just like, oh yeah, he's got that weird thing he does.
Yeah.
Like he does. And like back then, especially, this was back in like the 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
They were just like, oh well, he just does that weird thing sometimes.
Yeah,
and now, like, it's like, we have to pay attention to those kind of things.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think my mom has like really high stress level, and then I think she does the same thing. Like, I'll have a high blood pressure. It's like, because you have so much stress, and then she will like stress over small things. It's like, Mom, I think there might something be more going on here.
Yeah,
because like she will go to bed and she will be like stressed out. Like my brother didn't come home. It's like, he lives in LA. Like anytime he's home, like he will be home late. It's like she'll be worried sick. It's like, Mom, when he's in LA, I don't think he ever comes home. like why are you stressing about it? Like I think there's other things going on like that's not making you sleep, but obviously that.
Well, also if
the
you're
whole
not
thing.
pinpointing your stress, it's going to turn into
The
whole thing, more
Yeah.
anxiety, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a funny thing. But yeah. Parents, they're always a hilarious thing.
yeah, like most of my family, the main cause of death has been a stroke, and I'm like, oh, so we're all just stressed.
Yeah.
Like maybe if we like started up here.
It would be helpful.
Yeah.
I think the stress is such a big people I think we do talk about mental illness a lot, but I think we don't give that much attention to stress. Like just stressing over so much things, it can cause so many issues. It's like just needs to do more things, and my mom just like, no, I'll be fine. I'm just gonna take a walk. I was like,
Yeah, it's stress,
Sure.
but it's also like unhealthy coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
Like, if you're just like self-medicating or just drinking
oh, she's not doing
stuff
any of them.
away. Well,
I think she should drink. I think that will help her calm down in some aspects, but that's a whole different conversation. But Serenity Q2, maybe the word she should have used is emotional, LOL, but yeah, something I've noticed through interaction with people over the past 4 years. When someone has a flaw, instead of owning their flaw, they downplay it by saying everyone has the same flaw. Everyone doesn't lie. You just liar. That's okay. That is your cross to bear. Let's go from there. But yeah, that's a easy to it's easy to say like everybody's doing it. But so the other thing that you talk about openly, doing different diets, and I think we have all done a bunch of different diets. I'm not gonna ask you what's your favorite diet, but like doing all the diets, have you realized there's one thing that you're just never gonna cut out from your diet? It was like, for me, it's like coffee. I'm just never gonna give up on coffee.
Are we supposed to cut out coffee?
I don't know. I supposedly like you're supposed to have like 1 cup of coffee. Like I cut it down from 2 to 1, but I think I'm gonna go back to 2 again because
why?
instead of doing energy drinks, I think
Don't do energy drinks.
it's so hard. But like they're just here, and I've never used to do energy drink, but now at the studio we have energy
disgusting.
drinks. So like now I've been drinking like
Which
a
one? Because I feel like some of them are good for you. I really do.
Celsius.
Yeah,
I mean,
I feel like Celsius is good for you.
There was one time I almost had a heart attack from Celsius.
She was pacing.
I was pacing, but I think it was a bad batch. I think Celsius is good. It was just a bad batch though, because I've been drinking it, but
I feel like if I drink energy drink once, I will literally explode.
Yeah?
Because I've never drank an energy
Oh,
drink.
really?
but
You drink coffee though, right?
So like I would, yes, I drink
thing.
coffee. I drink coffee like every morning. Sometimes I try to have tea and then I'm miserable and I'm like, where's the coffee?
I know tea's
I have to do it.
yeah, anytime I try to cut out caffeine, I'm like, that's not working.
Yeah,
That's
it's not working. Like you have to try to do that around like your planned vacation.
Yeah.
So that you don't actually, maybe there's a chance you won't need it, and then perhaps coming back to work is gonna like make it easier. But
Oh no. I never. Even on vacations, like let's go get coffee.
Yeah, I
Let's
drink
find cafe.
I
I
love
drink
coffees.
coffee for joy, and
Yeah.
then I drink energy
Yes.
drinks for desperation. Like
that
if
sounds
I,
about right.
have like a 3-hour drive home and it's late and I have to get back, like I'll drink a energy drink.
Did you guys hear about the the charged lemonade at Panera Bread?
No, what? At Panera Bread.
Panera Bread has this.
It's called charged.
I think it's called charged lemonade, and when I went to see you guys in Kentucky,
Yeah.
for our camping trip, I
I was gonna say like what was it?
stopped at Panera Bread and I got a charged lemonade. I was wired.
Yeah?
The whole drive, I was just like. I like played like techno music. I'd never like listened to that shit. And I was like trying to get to Kentucky to meet with them. And then like, do you remember like I wasn't tired at all?
No, you were fully awake.
Like I was
yeah.
just on one, and I was like in the car for like 6
What is
hours
in
by
it?
myself.
Charged lemonade.
So one of YouTubers that I watch, I think his name is Matt Pat. He's like a food theory channel,
Yeah.
and he actually like looked into the
Charged lemonade.
amount of caffeine in the charged lemonade.
Oh.
And it was basically equivalent to 4 cups of coffee that I drank.
Wait, so how big of a cup was it?
It was just like a regular cup.
And those like
I drank all that during my lunch, so I stopped there for lunch.
Yeah.
In Cincinnati, and then
That's insane.
and it was like unlimited refill.
Huh.
So I got another. So technically,
had, like,
I had 8 cups of coffee.
Oh.
I don't love that feeling always, but every once in a while where you're just like like listening to music, like you can't keep one thought in. You're like, I gotta tell everyone everything right now.
I love it.
It
Well,
was
good
it
to
was
know.
bad. And like in this video, like he's talking about how like that is kind of like dangerous levels of caffeine that we're getting into, and like it's not really like labeled on the lemonade stand that it's like it's marked that it has caffeine in it.
Okay,
but it's
good.
not like.
I mean, it says charged, so
Maybe
I'm
don't
assuming.
drink it if you're a child or if you're pregnant. You know, like don't do that. Like it's not labeled. And then he like got into like how actually like past a certain amount of caffeine, if you drink it, like you can actually die.
And how much
And
is
like
that?
and it was like very close to like
What
what people usually drink when they like get the supercharged or the charged lemonade.
Oh my god.
And I was just like, what the fuck is happening?
I'm
in the world?
100% sure if caffeine was gonna kill me though, it would have already happened.
Yeah, I guess you're
No,
That's
it's like
true.
more. It was more for like people, like first of all, kids. Like if you're not used to that type of,
and
the
like having so
intake.
much at the same
Yes.
time.
Or like someone who has like pre-existing condition, like high blood pressure.
Dude, can
or,
you
like,
imagine the
diabetes.
kid getting like a charged lemonade because it's lemonade?
Yeah,
And then like, okay.
that's why he was talking about it. Like, hey, like Panera Bread, fix your labeling. Like,
Yeah, seriously. But that's good to know though. Next time I'm like tired, I will like charge lemonade instead
just
of
go
like
to Panera Bread,
energy drink.
get wired.
They get wired for sure. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's caffeine, and I think the other thing I will never cut out of my diet is like fried chicken sandwich. Like I love. I know I want that for my like lunch. I love fried chicken sandwich, like a Nashville fried chicken. I can have so many, which I think is not. I mean, it's not good. It's not good to have it, but I feel like it's been a while to think like I have to have it once a week.
My
'cause.
addiction is fries.
Fries.
I
can't cut it out. From
fries
diet.
and chips, so fried potatoes of any
Kind.
consistency. I will just gobble it up, and
I
I
will
will
say corn.
I don't know how to stop. That's the third. That's
Okay.
the third. I have a lot of addictions when it comes to food. But
Yeah.
I need to stay away. I can't buy chips at home. And if I buy fries like that week, then I need to like literally write down that I had fries this week because I can't get them again. Because I have high cholesterol. I'm pretty sure it's because I eat fries like a Neanderthal.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I won't give up, and I will just I don't give up anything.
yeah.
You know, like
Moderation.
I try and eat healthy throughout the week,
Yeah.
and then like I had Chili's yesterday.
Oh yeah.
The Southwest egg rolls, phenomenal.
It's so good.
And I hate the like, oh, nothing tastes as good as Skinny feels. Yes, it does.
That's the other thing. It's like people.
Have you ever
who,
had a
like,
Southwest egg roll
I've
from
never heard
Chili's?
of that.
Because yes, it
I
does.
love it. I love it. And that's the one thing like with diets, like sometimes when they're like, okay, you have to cut all this, I was like, then I'm just sad. If I'm
Yeah.
sad, do I want to be sad forever to look skinny? And like, no, I'm gonna eat because there's so much good food out there.
So,
Like,
speaking of diets and like weird food,
You gonna-
we talked about this on our previous podcast.
there we go.
I keep coming back to the raw meat
Diet? I don't understand.
There's like this trend on TikTok, and it's
Is
just
this
like,
still a
that
thing?
these people are like trying to make it look like, you know how people like sometimes do like the happy dance when they eat something delicious. Like,
Yeah.
this person will
You were gonna call
literally
her bitch.
this person will literally like get like a cube of raw like beef or something, put it in her mouth. It's like, no, you don't like that. Shut up.
No, it's not that
We
kind
know,
of good. It's not the happy
know
dance.
That's not how you feel about this.
That's how I feel about people who mix salads
Ah.
and they eat it and they're happy. And I was like, no.
Oh yeah, I saw this
I
girl.
don't think so.
Well, you went through my TikTok with
Yeah.
that girl that was like, "This is better than a potato chip."
Oh,
And it
yeah.
was a carrot, and I'm like, "No, it's not. Why would you lie to people like that?"
I love it.
No, in no world is that carrot better than a potato chip. Like,
no. I will eat it, but
yeah,
it's not the same.
Yeah.
I do like carrots a lot, but
But
I am
two
actually
totally-
addicted to potato
two
chips.
totally different
so-
things. Like, I'm never gonna be craving a potato chip and be like, "This carrot will do." Like,
It
no.
never happens. Oh my
Two
God.
different flavor palettes.
It's so funny. I never realized how much I love chips until like Rana. She's one of Normie, and she stayed with me for a few months, and she has potato chip addiction. But what she does, she will bring potato chips, open it, take two, and close it. It's like, you can't.
That's
do
not
this.
addiction.
Yeah.
No,
And
I
then
have addiction to chips because if I buy a bag of chips, I eat a bag of chips.
That's why I don't buy chips either. It was like, because I'm gonna eat it. So she will like lay it around and I will eat the whole thing. Like, runs. Why are you doing this? Like, take it to your room. Like, lock it up. You can't like leave it in the kitchen.
Safe.
Put it in the safe. Like, no.
Eat the key.
Zap's voodoo chips.
Oh my God.
Oh, those are good.
They're so good.
Yeah. Yeah, like those some chips are just great. Lay's, I love it. Wendy's chicken salad is bomb.
It is.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I never had their chicken salad.
Yeah, I like Wendy's.
Wendy's good. Their spicy chicken sandwich is great.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I bet you like their chicken
I
sandwich
love
if you're a
it.
chicken
Oh,
sandwich
like the
fan.
spicy chicken nuggets with sriracha sauce. So good. My mouth is
to eat
watering.
after
It's time for lunch. We're clearly getting to like all
Yes, I
But
need
yeah.
something. I've been rejecting, so since I came to the United States, I've been like rejecting fast food vehemently. But
Good luck.
sometimes I will just like, like it's fine, okay, let's go. And I did have like Wendy's multiple times at this point. Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, Burger King,
of course,
obviously.
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
I've had Taco Bell once.
Really?
Only once.
I did
It
not
was
know that.
okay.
What did you have?
I don't even remember. It was like years ago. But
We need to go back.
I have boundaries. Okay? My boundaries are White Castle,
Good.
Yeah.
Silvers.
Long John Silver's.
Yes.
Bad.
Silvers.
Smart.
I
No.
love that you knew
Not
exactly.
ever.
I know all the fast food.
Also, I'm really like, I've seen like ads for Arby's and I'm like, no.
They never look
Okay,
the same.
however,
No.
Arby's, you gotta try that.
Yeah, they're curly fries.
Yeah.
I love the
Long
curly
John
fries.
Silver's and White
Like,
Castle I get, yeah.
Rallies.
Don't ever try
I've
this.
also never been to
Rallies don't do that. Arby's is the only one that I'm like,
Yeah.
you gotta try it at least.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I might give it
But
a
it's
try.
never gonna look like the picture.
No.
So if
That's
you get
good. That's good because I don't think that I want that picture.
okay, but I mean, I'm just saying, like the pictures like this big sandwich.
yeah,
it's
I
gonna
don't.
be like this.
No, that's good.
Okay.
That's good.
They don't have the meats in it.
They don't.
Also, their logo. I know it's supposed to be a cowboy hat, but it's too tall and it looks like a condom.
Oh my god.
And then they say they got the meat.
They didn't get the meat. They
It
don't
might
have
be
it.
on purpose.
They don't have it. Yeah, that's a Taco Bell. Taco Bell hits the spot. You know, like when you want fast food at late night, nothing is open. It's Taco Bell. Their nacho cheese fry, like the nacho fries. No, the cheese with nachos is amazing, and their potato. What is it, like the potato taco?
Yeah.
Fried
Potato
potato
taco.
tacos. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's so good.
Okay.
It's really good if you're
Fried
on a
potatoes.
vegetarian diet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
Taco
hear.
Bell.
That's hilarious. My sister was like vegetarian for years.
Yeah.
But she would love to go to Taco Bell and she would get those and
Yeah.
then like bean tacos and everything. It's like, girl, this is not healthy.
I know. I think I was the most unhealthy when I was vegetarian because I was
There's
eating
nothing else
side
here.
dishes and
It's all
Taco
potatoes.
Bell. Yeah, and just carbs constantly.
Yeah, no, their potato taco is really, really good. It's like small potatoes that they're small potatoes fried.
Like hash.
Yeah. It's not even hash, it's like small chicken nuggets, but it's potatoes.
Oh,
so good.
Are
It's
it
so-
fried
It's fried.
in like butter, or is it just fried potato?
I don't know what they do with taco.
Like, is it covered in something?
It's covered with like this taco seasoning, but it's
Okay.
fried.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's just good.
Actually, this
Yeah,
question
potatoes.
keeps floating back and forth.
The cheesy fiesta potato. Yes, it's cheesy,
Cheesy
fiesta,
fiesta
potatoes,
That
in a
sounds funny.
taco form. It's so good. It's so good.
So the question that keeps floating in the chat is our opinions on Andrew Tate.
Why is he so in? Like he started with one question mark and then it did two, and then he was like, "I said."
He
You're
mentioned
not
multiple
listening
other
to
times.
me.
Yeah. What are your opinions? I feel like we are always afraid to talk about this topic because it's just going to, with the algorithm, is gonna pop up other stories. But like you should know our opinions on this. Like at this point.
Are you aware of what he did? Or what the
this is-
controversy is surrounding him?
This is the one with the behind the dumpster. That one.
Behind the dumpster?
No. Okay.
No.
Hold on.
No.
Which one's
no.
it?
There might
No,
be.
hold on.
He's the one who went to Romania Like he just full.
He's like the
misogynist
leader misogyny.
I like, you know,
incel
like
crowd.
one of those names you see it and you're like, I know I'm not supposed to talk about them, but I don't really know why.
So Andrew Tate, I think he's British, and he is like a super popular influencer, and he has this like, he has his like following that's like unhinged. The way they are just like super fans of his, not all of them.
Ooh, I'm looking him up.
A lot of
like,
them.
Why?
Yeah.
And just kind of like follow his word like it's law.
Yeah.
You know. And so recently he got in trouble. He's in jail actually.
Still in jail.
He's being held in a jail in Romania where he lived because he wanted to evade persecution in the United Kingdom.
From
So
rape, essentially.
from rape allegations. And now the investigation in Romania has confirmed that he has actually been recruiting girls. Like he would go on a date on Tinder, and then he would like make this girls, because there was like
multiple.
a lot of them. He would force them into doing like
OnlyFans.
webcam chat.
Yeah. This is such a like
And OnlyFans.
a common story. I hate to say that, but like this
It's
is like
becoming a thing.
yeah, like you hear about this a lot. Like I've watched so many documentaries about someone very similar. So he's basically just like British version of the shitty men.
I think the one thing that he got popular on, like it was like doing TikTok, and I think one thing he's like he just assumed he says the women are property.
Yes.
And that's where he just kind of goes with it, and like a lot of his following are young boys. And then, so his is like, female property, she should do whatever I'm telling you, blah, blah. And I think that's where he was like, okay, we're going on a date, you're gonna create an OnlyFans page, and whatever you're earning is my money. And I think it was like, that's not how it works.
So, and I knew this was bad when I went to a doctor for a checkup, and he was like trying to like make friendly talk with me. So he was like, hey, what's your job and stuff? And when I told him that I was a YouTuber, he was like, oh, so you have a Bugatti? And I'm like, no, I don't have Bugatti money.
I would love to have Bugatti.
And I was just like, what? Why was that like your first thought?
Yeah.
And Andrew Tate is known to have like 28 Bugattis or some shit. And he's just like always boasting.
Do we know why
that.
he has money? It's not all from YouTube, right?
Oh, I mean, he's been soliciting women to work for him.
So basically, he has money
trade,
from women making money for him on an OnlyFans.
Apparently
like,
he's been arrested
why
from...
don't you just do that? Girl, be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Right.
Like...
Yeah, but I mean, they were also like 15.
Yeah, they were young girls that...
Impressionable. Gross.
But you never
this, like... Sorry, the doctor was just like, the Bugatti, and I was like, why did you mention that? And he was just like, oh, my son, he like loves this YouTuber who has like all these Bugattis. And I was like, how old is your son? And he's like, oh, he's 12 years old, he really wants to be a YouTuber. And I'm like, okay, listen, you need to take your child's computer away.
Yeah.
You need to have a very serious conversation with him about how to approach women.
Yeah.
Like right now, because I know he's 12, but he's growing around this guy who is his role model, and it's not you.
Yeah.
That guy's his role model, and you need to fix that. And he was just like,
yeah.
what?
I think that's the thing. Like the long-term problem is that young kids and men are being influenced by him to a large amount, and that's essentially like they are being influenced to be like, oh yeah, I can say whatever, and the females are supposed to be submissive. Like that's how it works.
And sometimes I feel like they'll do it online and they'll say it almost in a joking manner. Like, oh yeah, I've got all these girls doing OnlyFans for me.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you have all these teenagers doing say it in a serious way. Don't say it in a joking manner, because that's not a joke. Like, Chris D'Elia did that too, where he was like, oh, you know, like, I'm starting a cult. I've got all these girls, like, just, like, wanting to do stuff for me. And I'm like, that's not a joke.
That's not a joke.
It's not a joke.
Yeah. Because recently, I think one thing that came out, like Philly D was talking about it, how he told this girl, like, oh, you'll look so much better with the boobs. And then he forced her to get a boob job because otherwise he tortured her.
Oh yeah, he would like so after you have like surgery, like you're supposed to like rest. You know, you have to like wait for everything to settle.
Yeah.
And he was like forcing them to like hang on like a monkey bars.
Yeah.
And it would like it stretches, like it creates like extra scars. Like
Why?
Dominance? I don't fucking know. It's alpha male bullshit. Like
It's just
So weird.
Yeah, so our opinion on him is fuck it. Like, fuck him. Yeah,
I'm glad
seriously.
he's behind bars. Good riddance.
Yeah.
Both him and his brother.
And the funniest thing is, like, he got in jail in Romania, and he went to Romania because he was like, oh, the legal system there is, like, so weak, they will never prosecute me. And now, like, he's behind jail. Like, all right, let's see how that goes.
And we can thank Greta Thunberg for the arrest.
It was amazing.
Which was the best.
I love it. I love it. She was the best part. But, yeah, I don't know. He's, like, a worse kind of pimp. He is a pimp. Like, just the worst.
He's dumb.
It's,
I really want to, like, I wish I could, like, personally beat him up
yeah.
with, like kitchen utensils.
Yeah, take it all out.
It's a nice pan, like a nice, iron pan.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Sorority Q said, it's so funny because it's all about making your money, you run the woman, etc. But in reality, the women are making the money. So in reality, he's a sugar baby. He is.
Yeah.
He really is. Yeah. So talking about that, like, I mean, you and can I, like, I think you're single, right? Like, yeah, I'm single too. Like, dating in Indiana is a whole different world. But it's funny, I was talking to somebody who was like, oh, guys in Indiana, where they're like, oh, you're going to blame Indiana. I was like, I am going to blame Indiana. I'm going to blame Midwest.
Can't blame myself.
I can't blame myself. But yeah. So are there, like, red flags that you have come across that you're like, didn't know this was a thing, but it's definitely a red flag that I'm gonna stay away from?
DJs. No.
Are there a lot of DJs? I guess there's a lot of DJs.
No, not really. But I think a lot of it is like, I used to blame a lot of things on other people, but a lot of it has been me. Like, the reason I haven't been successful in a lot of relationships is partially my fault as well. And learning, like, that I'm much better single.
Yeah.
Like, I really am. I'm a happier person. I'm a much better friend. I actually call my mom. Like, I am better single. And I'm trying to think of, like, they're all red flags to me right now. Because I'm just like, unless you're willing to just let me do whatever I want to do and you do what you want to do and we form some sort of partnership based on that, that's the only way it's going to work. Yeah. Like,
and that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Like, you still have your independence, and I think, you do it both ways. I think that's the one thing, like, when you live single, it's like, you get addicted to it. Exactly. You get addicted to a single life. I was like, I can do whatever I want.
Oh, yeah, in your bed, and, like, you don't have to, like, call anyone when you get off work. Like, what happened the other day? Somebody was just like, they're like, do you want to drive? I forget where we drove, but we drove like an hour away, and they called me when I was on my way home from work, and they're like, I have to go pick something up an hour and away. Do you want to go? And I'm like, yeah. And just was able to just do that. I didn't have to call, like, my partner and be like, is it okay if I go? Like, I just, like,
I gotta do this.
I'm sure that's lovely, and, like, I guess eventually I'll want that type of life, but right now I cannot stand the thought of somebody telling me, like, what I'm gonna do for the day.
Yeah, no.
That's also not what it should be.
And that's also a red flag.
Or just, like, I don't want to, like, ask anybody anything. Like,
no, that's fair. Oh, it's funny because I was talking to somebody, just like a deal breaker, and I didn't realize, like, this was a deal breaker for me until, like, I guess after a while. It's like messiness. Like, if somebody's, like, constantly messy, and they were like, oh, that's a new. It's like, like, if somebody's, like, constantly messy, like, I'm messy too, but, like, by end of a week, I have to, like, put everything back where it was. Like, during the week, like, the life is chaotic, everything is everywhere. But, like, if you are messy constantly, I can't, like, I get distracted by it so easily. Yeah. Like, I procrastinate everything by, like, cleaning. So, like, that's a red flag, man. Like, if you still live like a college while you're in the 30s,
right?
Yeah, like, have a bed sheet.
I think on the first day, like, red flags that I'll see immediately is when they're talking about people instead of things. Like, if their, like, main focus is like, oh, well, my friend did this, and, like, oh, I know this person, and this person did this, and I'm like, oh, okay, do you talk about anything besides other, like,
the people?
Yeah, where does your conversation end? Because you're going to get boring to me eventually. And then also something about someone ordering craft beer. I've never liked somebody that orders craft beer.
No?
Yeah.
Why?
That's a personal red flag. I just like, anytime I've gone on a date and they order a craft beer, I'm like, oh, great, we're not going to get along. I don't know. It just goes.
What if the craft beers, you live in Indiana, there's like a craft beer
I don't know.
everywhere.
It's always some like man that's also going to try and explain cryptocurrency to me.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm just like, ugh, gross. Like,
We'll tell you about the mouthfeel.
yeah.
The mouthfeel. Oh my god, that's hilarious. But yeah, no, that's one of the things. Like, I don't mind the craft beer, but if somebody like doesn't drink, there's always kind of things like, why not? Can I drink it from you? Now this is weird. Like,
Yeah, I have too
what?
many questions when somebody's like, I don't drink. I'm like ever? Did something happen?
Yeah, like is it health reasons?
Yeah.
Or religious? Like so many other questions.
I'm too intrusive for you to tell me you don't drink. I like have to know the whole story.
Yeah.
I
no.
mean, but that's like also a fair question to ask. You know, like if you're on a date and like want to move forward, maybe something to know.
You can like craft beer. I'm just saying it's never worked out for me personally. Every time
You just have
I'm
too many
like,
bad memories
Yeah,
with
like I'm
it.
like, oh shit, no.
I do like craft beer as well.
Yeah.
Because I like I will usually settle for like
The version
a
of
regular like Corona or something. But like my first beer, I always like to have something that's new that I've never had before. And sometimes I regret that choice. And sometimes it's fun.
it. That's funny.
It's like a beer roulette.
DJ Degenerate literally just had a female friend call me because she isn't feeling good. I want to help, but considering COVID exists and I don't have my shots, I don't want to risk getting sick. Like, because I doubt she will help me. I want to help though. Oh, go help her. Just stay from far away. Leave the food on the door. That's the other thing. I need to check up on a couple of my friends who I haven't heard from a while. We need to do wellness checks. It's like, are you guys okay? What's happening there? But yeah, no, this has been good. I love all the people that have been in chat. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm gonna wait for Spencer to come because he is listening. But yeah, usually our podcasts go for hour and a half, and usually talking about it. But what are you laughing at?
Name more iconic duo than bearded white dudes and craft beer.
So true.
Well, you gotta add also the the a la carte burgers or something like that.
A la carte burgers?
There's
where are you getting a la carte burgers from?
I just saw recently there's just like this new restaurant that opened where you can like build your own burger, and it's just like the weirdest.
Five Guys?
No, it's like the weirdest. No,
It's a new restaurant. You've never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
but it's like it has like very obscure ingredients for a burger.
Is it Apocalypse?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Oh,
remember.
Apocalypse Burger.
Apocalypse. Have you been there?
Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah, I helped them open that restaurant.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Wait, what do
so-
you mean you helped them open the
Well,
restaurant?
I mean, like, I used to work for Patachu.
Oh,
yeah,
gotcha.
like-
Wait, are they by same people?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love Petachu.
So I was there for, like, the first, 6 months that they opened.
Nice.
That's
It's
good.
Yeah.
It's good.
I need to go. Like, I was looking at yesterday because I wanted to go to museum yesterday. And do you know museums close at 4 p.m.? Like, they close at 4 p.m.
All museums?
Like, Indiana,
That's-
like IMA, and even Children's Museum close at 5 p.m. It's like, was that always the case? Because I remember going there after work. And
Children's
I'm
also
Museum
weird,
usually closes
like-
at 5, yeah.
I was like, who's going there?
Yeah, who's, like, taking off of work to go to a museum?
Like, especially IMA, like, it's an adult museum. Like, I guess you get tours.
So you usually have tours for kids
but
during the
still,
day.
have few days as a later on.
And tourists that are on vacation. But, I mean, do you go to the Museum of Indiana often?
I used to. I would have gone yesterday if it was open past 4 p.m. And then I ended up ordering pizza, so I was like, that's what we're gonna do then.
Oh.
But yeah, no, that's always like one of those things. Like, Indiana it's sad sometimes. I do like it, but yeah. So what are you going on the rest of the week?
The rest of this week, I'm in South Bend all weekend for shows.
Are you doing a lot of like
Yeah.
stand-up comedy there?
Yeah, it's just called the Drop Comedy Club. So,
Oh, fair enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
Normally when they book you for the whole weekend. So I'm there all weekend. So if
does
anyone
that-
has recommendations of South Bend, Indiana, of what to do there, I've never been. So
I've never been.
I
Sadly.
highly doubt anybody has.
So how does that work? Do you have an agent they contact, or like do you contact the places, or they contact you directly?
Just word of mouth. Word of mouth. Yeah,
Okay.
like normally somebody will say, "Oh, this person recommended you. Would you like to come do a show?" I mean, I've heard that like you can email club owners and say like send them your tape.
Yeah.
But a lot of it, like I've done comedy festivals or You know, I'll do stuff at Helium, and then you get stuff from another Helium, or you'll do like a Don't Tell comedy show, and another Don't Tell comedy show will reach out to you. So it's like,
fair enough.
It's slow moving. I can't ever imagine myself reaching out to a club owner and being like, "You're gonna want to book me." Like,
what if you create a different email? Be like, I'm agent. I'm an agent for this person. You should like book this person, and that person doesn't exist.
I cannot imagine myself getting an agent in the next like probably 6 months, but I would say probably in like a year. Hopefully, I can like have somebody else do that work for me, because like promoting yourself is the most awkward thing in the world. To be like, no, I'm funny, I swear.
Yeah.
You gotta see it.
You have to listen to it. But yeah, no, that makes sense. So how often do you do stand-up comedy? Like is it once a month, once a week? Do you have goals around it?
Yeah, I probably do it like 3 to 4 times a week.
Okay, wow.
I normally do 1 open mic a week, which is essentially just, it's your practice time.
Yeah.
So
do you come up with a new content that you test out at open mic?
Yeah. Not every time. You know, it's normally like I'll think of a new joke, and then like it's like I'll try it out at 3 times that week, or I'll try it at the open mic, and then I might have like the show that weekend, and I'm like, oh, okay, that one worked really well. I'll put that one into this set.
Fair enough.
So yeah, practice normally. It's so weird to think of it like that, like a little sport. Like I'm like, oh, I have practice once a week, and then I normally have games on the weekends.
That makes sense. Like, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it really is. It's especially because I'll do, if I'm not doing stand-up on the weekends, I'm doing content.
Okay.
And even though it's both funny, it's 2 different parts of your brain that you use. Like writing content and writing stand-up comedy is like
definitely
so different.
Fair.
So you have to like unlock each part of that part of your brain each time.
So recently you've been started doing If Drinks Were People.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. That's hilarious. So how did you come up with that topic? Because I remember, I think you had one video, and then actually that took off.
Yeah.
And then you had multiple of those. Like, you just like, all right, I'm gonna line up all these drinks and see what's what.
That's well, so I work in advertising, and we had gotten a new brand, and we were just kind of brainstorming videos that we could do for them, and then the If Drinks Were People one kind of came up, and I was like, we're not going to be able to do this for them because I'd have to bring in all kinds of different brands.
Yeah.
But then, you know, my brain starts working. I'm like, I could do this for my own content then.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I started out, I wanted to do soft drinks.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I don't know, your brain just goes into this like freaking mania. And
like energy drinks, alcohol, everything. Yeah.
And so I was like trying to find what drinks I wanted to do. I was at a Goodwill shopping around, and I saw a Monster Energy t-shirt, and I was like, yeah,
there you go.
I'm gonna do energy drinks. Nice. And that's how it started.
So which one would you consider yourself as a one-wood drink?
Oh my god, it's so weird because I feel like I'm a mix between Rockstar, which is the like just hillbilly, and
that makes my hair raise. Yeah, just hearing
that's how it should work.
And then Alani Nu, which is the typical like influencer white girl drink. I feel like I'm just a mix of those two.
Wait, which one was the second one? Alani Nu?
Alani Nu, have you had it?
I don't think I've ever had it. It's really good. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it. Unless like I say it very wrong.
It's a very gym person. Like if you drink Alani Nu, you wear Gymshark.
You know, when I used to date, I would sometimes, you know, if like the person I was with would ask me like if I want to drink, and be like, yeah, surprise me. Every time they bring like vodka Red Bull, I would just be like,
oh god,
this is the last time we're seeing each other.
That's your red flag. Mine's craft beer, yours is vodka Red Bull.
Vodka Red Bull. Like, god, anything Red Bull. I can't have Red Bull because Red Bull just associated with like the shots, like the Vegas shots or whatever. Like anybody is drinking Red Bull in front of me, I was like, please take it away.
Yeah.
I've had too many bad nights.
You can just smell it like as it comes
Yeah,
to
it
you.
smells like
oh
crap.
my god.
Dude, one time Chris like left open Red Bull in my car.
Oh,
In the back,
I'm
in the
so
bag,
sorry.
I couldn't figure out what the smell was, and every time I was like, "Who left what in here?" And like I searched one day and I found it. I was like, "God!" And it's open. It was half of it still in there. Like this just smells disgusting. Like I can't. Vodka Red Bull is something I've left behind in college. Thank you, yes, Braktir, for sure. Like that's just one of those drinks. Like I just can't do it.
It's bad.
Yeah. Are you planning on like? Do you have for your comedy? Do do a writing, like do you keep a notes where you keep things that you write it up, or you just come up with on a spot?
No, I write.
Yeah.
I'm not a very forceful writer. I don't force myself to write every day.
Fair
And
enough.
I know that works for other people.
Does it work for other people? Like,
They say that. Like,
Yeah.
I plan out 20 minutes of my day to just write. Like, I can't do that. It's so chaotic, and it just comes out of nowhere, and I'll be like driving or something, and then I'll say it over and over again in my head so I don't forget it until I can write it down.
Oh, fair. So you don't do voice memos or anything?
I will do a voice memo.
Yeah.
If I'm like driving or something, I'm like, oh, that's really funny. I don't want to forget that.
Fair enough.
But a lot of times it's just, I don't know. Like there's no rhyme or reason to it. I'm not.
That's funny.
Especially when I'm working full time. I'm doing a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Like it's not one of those things where I have a ton of time to sit down and.
So are there any tools that you use to organize it? I know you just said like in the beginning, like you're not organized, like everything is everywhere. But have you tried different tools to like organize yourself? I'm like, no, like
When I first started, I read a couple books.
Yeah.
I read a couple
they never work.
Yeah, getting
books-
started in comedy or how to write a joke, and like they were fine, and I'm happy that I read them because I do think it kind of gave me that kickstart, just mentally what I wanted to do. I was like, oh, this looks really cool, but now I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna read a prompt and try and write a joke off of that. Like it's just whatever happens in my real life. I'm like, oh, that was kind of funny. Let me make up a story about this. And
Makes sense. So how much of the stories are like made up compared to like real life stories?
They all come from a place of realism.
Something, yeah.
And then a lot of it is exaggerated. Or like I'm trying to figure out this therapist joke right now, which I really did go see a therapist.
Yeah.
But the things that I said to her, maybe what happened in therapy, made up. But like, who's she gonna tell? You know? She got HIPAA.
She can't tell nobody.
Yeah. I'm literally allowed to lie about whatever I want. She has no right to say that I'm wrong, so.
That's true. That's very true. So do you see therapists regularly?
Not anymore. I did.
I need to find a therapist.
Yeah, I did the BetterHelp.
Yeah?
Which was nice for me. I know I keep saying I'm so busy, but like it's nice because it's just online. And you can just you can do it on your phone. So like sometimes I do it like while I was driving or.
Yeah. So you didn't have a good experience with BetterHelp? No? Are you all done with them?
I am, yeah. I maybe should have gotten it a second chance, but I just didn't feel like spending the money when I could probably just find a therapist here.
And you haven't found one here either.
Well, I've been trying. I have an appointment scheduled, but it's like for March.
Yeah, I chose BetterHelp because it was just so easy to.
And it's instant.
Yeah, like instantly you go to therapist. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't like my greatest experience ever.
It depends on therapist.
But getting a therapist here, it's like, oh yeah, we're booked out 7 months.
Yes.
Sorry, don't.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I just don't get it. Like, and obviously I don't want to go to like an emergency room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for adding more to my mental health strain by making me go to an emergency room. Now I have this $5,000 bill to pay. Kudos.
Yeah. No, that's funny. I don't know. I need to find a therapist. Like I've been trying to look. It's exactly been the same things. Like either they're not taking new patients, or they're just so far booked out.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe I should give it BetterHelp a chance.
Try it. You might be luckier than me. I did not.
I also think it's so crazy how easy it is to get medication now.
Yeah.
Because like with BetterHelp, they partnered with something else, and it was like that's where you could go to get your medication. Well, I told them like the 3 things that were wrong with me, and they were like, oh, okay, here's this, and just wrote me a prescription for, I think it was like Lexapro. I never ended up taking it because I was like, I'm not sure if I need this. I was like, I really think I just need someone to talk to.
Yeah.
And
oh, wow.
off of 10 questions, they prescribed me it was like 10 milligrams of Lexapro. I was like, I'm not sure if I need this, but they just
Did they give you like
there wasn't even a script or anything. They just sent it to me in the mail, like once a month, like a thing of. I have like 4 bottles of it, and I've never took it, but
you can sell it.
Yeah,
something.
I was like,
oh my God.
I didn't sign a prescription, nothing. They just sent it to me in the mail, like.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Did they ever do a diagnosis, like what you had, and then the like?
I mean, it was like 10 questions that they asked me.
Oh wow, that's very.
And then, you know, it was like, on a scale of 1 to 10, like, how often do you fear the future? And of course, I'm like, 10 all the time. It never leaves my mind. What are you talking about? And they're like, oh no, like.
That's funny.
Well, but I feel like that's also like everyone.
Yeah.
Because like this is just such a chaotic world. Like, does everybody need to be medicated at this point? Like,
Probably.
I think probably.
Well, maybe we should do something else.
Yeah, maybe instead of medication, we just need a change in our environment, the way that we work and live and do things.
But I mean, that's so difficult because like the whole world is just.
It's not the whole world, Navi.
It's the world. The world is dying. The world is like there's so much happening.
That is true. That is true. But in terms of like wellness. PTO.
Oh yeah, no.
Vacation time.
No, that's a whole different. In America, so
maternity leave.
America's a whole different thing on its own.
Here. Yeah.
Brooke, dear, if you don't have mental health issues nowadays, I'm suspicious of you.
Hey, right?
That's so true.
Yeah.
So
you used to be scared of people with mental health issues, and now it's like, if you're like, oh no, I've never had depression, you're like,
yeah. I think one of the green flag is somebody who tells me they're in therapy, like, good. You're working on yourself. That's awesome. Yeah, but you're right. Like, if I heard that, like, several years ago, I was like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Why are you in therapy? What happened?
Yeah. Now it's the opposite.
Yeah. Like, I'll be like, yo, there was a trauma. I don't know if I want to deal with this. But, no, for sure. So, Randy, you definitely should give better help. Yeah, give BetterHelp a chance and don't let a bad experience make you give up. Just try a new one. For me, the best therapist I've had is a Black woman, and on BetterHelp, you can create your therapist. So find someone, culturally appropriate and female because of the 4 therapists.
Yeah. Well, my therapist was a woman, and she was an immigrant, and like we connected on that, but she just wasn't. To me, it felt like I was talking to like a random person online that didn't have any qualifications because we were just talking in a friendly way. Like we just had banter, and then like took like out of the hour or the 45 minutes, it took like 90% of the time to have like just this friendly chat. And I hate small talk, so I'm like, this is adding to my stress right now. Like having this small talk with this person that I don't know.
Yeah.
And then like in the last like few minutes, she's just like, so is there anything specific you want to talk about today? And I was just like,
a lot?
Yeah.
You're like, isn't that your job? It says me forcing this out
we
of
have
me.
about 5 minutes now, and I'm like, great.
I think that's happened. We are also in group therapy, like as a company of 7 of us. And sometimes we'll go to a therapist and he'll just like, so how was your vacation? And you asking 7 people. So 7 people telling you a vacation takes 30 minutes. And we're like, we have a lot of things to talk about. Can we get to the point? And I think
you have a group therapist that talks to all of you, like to make sure you all get along?
We're in a group,
Cool.
We've been friends and co-workers for a while now, so that has caused some communication issues because we communicate very differently. That's working compared to like who are friends. So we have a therapist that we go together as a group.
That's so cool.
So it's been really good. It's been a lot helpful. Like very helpful. So but recently we've just been like, all right, this is what we need to talk about. Patrick, can we get to this point?
5 minutes small talk. Let's warm up. Okay, let's just go.
Yeah, last few I just sent him an email like, because this is what I need to talk about. Can we just get to this? Like, it's been good. I think it's just been one of those things. It's like, all right, how do we better communicate? And it's been helpful for sure. Like I think something we needed a long time ago. It's been a year now, I think, since we had him.
I think so.
Almost a year. Yeah, so it's helped a lot. I think if I can't find therapists on my own, there's a lot of things I learned from him in the group. Then like I can translate it to other things. It's like, that's good. Yeah, no, it was needed. Yeah, it was needed for sure. But everybody needs a therapist. Somebody, or find someone that you can vent to.
And on that note, why don't you go do that right now, because we're about to finish with this podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
What's going on with you that you maybe want to shout out? What's your Twitter and TikTok?
Yeah, just Sarapoptarts on Instagram and TikTok. I'm gonna keep doing the If Drinks Were People videos. Yes. So if you're
hilarious.
If you have any drinks you want done. I'm doing Franzia wine next, so.
Oh,
yeah.
love Franzia wine. But yeah, check her out on TikTok and Instagram. She is hilarious. Also, Polite Catcalling is my best. It's the best videos I've seen. I love watching those. But yeah, until then, we will see you guys the next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Get ready, cause it's about time for you to speak your mind. Super secret girls club. Secret girls club. Super secret girls club.